Tales Gogo Told Me by Lisa Granger. Thanks, Lisa. The Leopard's Promise, told to me in Tonga by Mafutu Siabwana, a builder in Bulawayo, and in Shona by Justice Chamora in Harare, Zimbabwe. One day, Leopard was dragging home an antelope for his supper when he fell into a big black pit made by a man. Leopard felt very sorry for himself. The pit was deep and dark and cold, and his body was battered and bruised from the fall. What was he gonna do? He panicked. How was he gonna get out? Then from above he heard a laugh. It was a hyena. "Help! Help, hyena!" roared Leopard from the trap. "I have fallen in a pit. Please help me." But hyena was in no mood to help Leopard. "What do you do for me?" he howled. "You always call me a scavenger, so I'm going to do just that. I'm going to take your antelope and enjoy it in peace. Goodbye." And then off he trotted. The furious Leopard wasn't left alone long though. The path the man had dug the pit in was used by most jungle animals, and soon Leopard had all sorts of animals peering over the edge. First, the baboons sauntered by, then the warthogs. The birds fell in, and the giraffe peered in, but not a single one would lend a hand. Leopard had killed too many of their friends for supper. One day passed, and then another. Just as Leopard was getting desperate, a man walked by. "Please, kind man, help me out here," whimpered Leopard. "I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, and if you don't help me, I will die. Please hear my cry." The man looked sympathetically at the Leopard. He was indeed thin, and he did look bruised and tired. "If I let you out, Leopard, you gotta promise me one thing," he said, staring the Leopard in the eye. "You cannot catch me or eat me, and you're gonna have to leave man alone forevermore." Leopard, desperate to get out of the pit, nodded his head. "I promise," he purred. "I promise." So the man nervously lowered his hand, held on to Leopard's paw, and he hurled him out of the deep, dark pit. But as soon as he was on firm ground, Leopard's eyes sparkled and mouth watered. "Hooray, supper!" he snarled hungrily at the man. "I never thought I'd find food so fast." The man's body shook with terror. "You promised, Leopard," he quivered, "that you would never eat me or any other man again. You promised." But Leopard growled grumpily. "That was then, and this is now, you silly man," he said. "Wait until I've sharpened my claws." The man was desperate. He looked around for help, but there was no one about. The only thing nearby was the river. "River! River, help me!" he shouted. "Leopard wants to eat me for my tea." But the river just ambled by. "Why should I help you, man?" it gurgled. "You wash your dirty clothes in me, you swim in me, and you drink me. What have you ever done to help me?" The man sighed. He knew that the river was right. So he turned to the trees. "Trees, trees, come and help me," he begged. "The leopard wants to eat me for tea." But the trees too turned their leaves away. "We shade you, we let your children climb us, and all you do is burn us," they rustled in the wind. "When you learn to help us, we'll help you, man." In desperation, the man turned to a hare who was hopping along the path. "Hare, please help me," he begged. "Leopard promised not to harm me, but now he wants to eat me for tea." The hare turned to the Leopard. "Is this true?" he asked, looking sternly at the big cat. "Yes, it is," growled Leopard, sizing up the appetizing hare. "But why should I not eat this man? His brothers were the ones who dug this pit, his fathers are the ones who spear my family, and his sisters are the ones who shout at me if I visit their village. What's a promise if a man has only ever harmed me?" "I see," said the hare thoughtfully. "This is rather complicated, and I'm not sure I'll follow it all. If you don't mind, kind Leopard, I would like if you could go back to the very beginning and show me exactly what happened. And once I've seen it with my own eyes, at least I can judge whether you should eat the man for tea." Wanting food as quickly as possible, Leopard agreed. Just as Hare had asked, he leapt down into the pit again, and he started to relate the story of how Hyena had refused to rescue him, and the baboons and the birds and even the warthog. Then he got to the part where Man came along. Please will you help me out, Man?" he said again, staring out of the pit at the hare and the man. This time, though, what do you think the man answered? "I trusted you once, but I'm never going to do that again, you foolish leopard. A liar like you deserves to stay in the deep, dark pit, and a friendly, helpful man like me deserves to go home with his friend, the hare, for tea. Goodbye." And off the man went, pondering the lessons he had learnt that day. From then on, he only cut trees that were old and dying, so that trees would be his friends. He washed his clothes in the bowl, so that the river would respect him again. He stopped trapping hares in snares, for it was the wise little long-haired creature which had helped him escape. And he never ever trusted a leopard again. His mother had told him that a leopard never changes his spots, and that hungry leopard will always be a hungry leopard, no matter how many promises it makes. But until that day I hadn't known what she meant. Now I did. And he never forgot it again. The end.